first stop was to see the Lapsleys and discuss Joe's proposed extension.
Although we say we see the view, we don't need to come inside to see the view, we just open the doors. But it'd still be nice to sit in the view.
Yeah.
Because obviously in the winter it's pretty wild and, you know, it's really stormy and windy, but you just hatch everything up. But if there's somewhere that you can sit.
Joe's proposal is to attach a glass link to the front of the building. This will also create a larger reception area by the front door.
So you just be in here and then walk out through here, and then you get into this space, and then this is your spill out space. So all that goes out through there, filled with
So this would be all open space here? Okay.
That would be the idea.
Okay.
Although it won't be cheap to construct, it will allow the Lapsleys to take advantage of their stunning location. Meanwhile, on the other side of the island, Duncan Castling wants to restructure his hotel and restaurant to maximise the existing space.
What we do is we're kite surfers and divers, and we attract groups to us who come and stay here.
Fantastic.
So what we want to do is to make more flexibility into the building and change the structure of the restaurant so that because this is dead, this is redundant. A lot of the time this sits here, it's a nice reception area and things like that. It's nice for us to sit, but it doesn't link into that. The two are distinctly separate, and there should be a single thing right through to lead to that view out there.
Well, we'll draw up the different options. Yeah. We can see what way the rooms work upstairs too, because if your master is at this end, then trying to fit in a guest with a corridor might be a tricky situation. So we'll see what the areas are like.
Further down the island, we visited Kate McCallum, who wants to extend her house to accommodate her young family.
I want more space. I want a really nice kitchen and a really nice bathroom.
Kate has a healthy budget to spend on the extension, but first she has to find a solution to an unusual problem, a power line that runs directly over her existing kitchen.
About sort of the £3 to £4 grand mark. And we're like, ouch.
I think that price could probably be made up in the house by just having the room to come out that way, because a long flat extension will be very hard to work in to make it look like Tiree houses, like a black house. This could end up being a black house this way, and that end of it would be like the T. So the black house could be this way, and you could refocus the house back that way with your kitchen diner, because that's the way the extension is coming anyway. So this would be the main black house, and then the T part will be the other end of it. You know, we might dig into the ground here and give you an extra 3 or 4 feet, 11-foot ceiling for the new part.
That would be,
something like that. And then if you put it here at this end, you keep yourself away from the well. And for the sake of that line, maybe costing £800 or £900, it's very cheap for that price. So we worth inquiring.
Ulrika has lived in her current home for several years, and over this period she's spent a lot of time, money and effort to create this stunning home.
Ulrika's had some work done, and she just wanted us to run our eyes over just a couple of questions to do with some of the flashing details about whether there should be some here, and we certainly think there should be. At the eaves, where the roof meets the wall, there should be it should be sort of bolted down pretty much on every one, which it isn't. But the main thing she wanted us to talk about was inside here. The roof is only just sitting on these sort of timber beams, and that's actually going to be a problem with water coming in. But we've had a look at this lead flashing that they've used, which extends all the way across and seems to have been lapped underneath this one and come down far enough over this roof. So we and Joe particularly don't think it's going to be a problem. So I think we've given her a bit of peace of mind about that, which is quite cool. So
she feels that over the next 10 years she wants to build a new little eco bungalow and place it here, kind of her last house, and then she would sell this off as a holiday home to somebody who wants to come to the island.
That if you have a hillside, you could put it in here. It's got to be freestanding, I think.
Okay. And but the front elevation to be glazed, sort of completely.
Well,
We talked about it yesterday.
Look at it, you can't see the sea.
Okay.
Inside, Ulrika has created a unique and warm welcome to her house with a clever blend of old and new materials, as well as using white-coated rooms to give her house an airy and fresh feel. To complete the house, Ulrika has one more ambitious project that she wanted us to take a look at.
She wants a small balcony put in front of this door to make the most of the views that are out there, but rather than it just being a place to sort of stand on and just look out, she wants a place that maybe she could sort of sleep on and engage with the sort of natural environment and that kind of thing. So we're going to take a few measurements and then sort of suggest a few schemes. She seemed quite keen to have a really modern language. She was talking about glass and steel and that kind of stuff. So quite an exciting little brief.
The weekend's been better than we could have ever hoped for. We came up to find a couple of things out. Firstly, what people on Tiree thought about a renewable energy exhibition, and secondly, what people on Tiree thought about their houses and buildings and any work that was required. And I suppose for the renewable energy, we were delighted about how many people were prepared to come and engage with the subject and talk about some quite difficult questions. And equally, there was a great deal of enthusiasm for people to come and talk about new buildings and new design and our role in that. So the weekend's gone better than I could have ever hoped for.
I'm impressed with the exhibition. I'm impressed with the way that the guys present the information.
I think there's a lot of creative people on the island, and I think they've all got quite high standards. And I think they expect the same and want the same from their architecture and their buildings. And I think recently that's not really been achieved. So I think a lot of people were really pleased and really enthusiastic to see it.
I think it's very good, and there's obviously been a terrific amount of work put into it, and very interesting.
A hunger for people, design, builders that can actually do the job, and an isolation of craft, and a craft that's dying in isolation, which is really sad.
I'm sure everybody knows that renewable energy is the kind of way forward and stuff, but to see it in such a dramatic scale in the space of what, 50 years and stuff, kind of thing.
I think the main thing about the people at Tiree is how environmentally aware they are, and how they really want to improve housing, their housing, maybe new housing, using modern technologies, improve the energy efficiency.
I didn't know what to expect before I came, but it's everything's on a much bigger scale, and it's certainly been very well attended, hasn't it? It's been pretty well 100 people coming through, which is amazing in a population of 700.
I think there is an enthusiasm to embrace new ideas and new design, but in a way that's respectful of tradition and of sympathetic to the island's culture. I think there's such a rich architecture and heritage to build on that with the right people and the right clients and the right designers, there's every chance that Tiree's architecture and built environment can be a success for years and years to come.